everybody, it's Lauren with Memory Lane Jane. Welcome back to our week's worth of storytelling about veterans in honor of Veterans Day. And I'm so excited to introduce you tonight to David Meneley. David Meneley was a World War II veteran, and I didn't have the chance to meet David personally. I interviewed his wife, Eugenia Meneley. You might recognize this book from our book reveal last week. This one was just printed. I met with Jean, we call her, out in California about almost 2 years ago. We've been working on this book together, and her husband, David, passed away several years ago, but we still wanted to preserve some of his story and his legacy in her book. And so here is David. It's a little bit blurry picture that we have of him in his Navy uniform. And so David was born in Illinois and then moved out to Glendale, California, lived right down the street from Walt Disney. They bought the house for $15,000 in the Great Depression, and you can imagine living down the street from Walt Disney, that the house is worth a lot more today. But David, after high school, he went to the Frank Wiggins Trade School to study printing, but he didn't do that for the long term. He'd always wanted to join the Navy and go to sea, and so that's exactly what he did. He became a sailor. And then on December 7th, 1941, you can imagine where this is going, David was serving as a fire controlman aboard the USS Dobbin, a Navy destroyer tender in Pearl Harbor. And he was planning to go to shore that morning, but before he had the chance to leave, you can guess what happened. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. And so during an emergency, David's job was to close all of the portholes and basically batten down the hatches. And so from a porthole, as he was doing this, he saw the USS Arizona being blown up. And the USS Dobbin, it wasn't blown up because it wasn't a battleship. It was a supply ship. The Japanese weren't interested in destroying those so much. And so when David finally got up on deck, one of the Japanese pilots was flying so low that he saw David and waved to David out of the plane. And David waved back, apparently in shock, didn't know what to do, didn't know what was happening. I mean, this was a Sunday. Jean, his wife, described, he talked about it was a beach day. It was a laid back, hangout day, and this was so unexpected. And his ship had guns, but they didn't have the right ammunition. And even if they did, no one was prepared to shoot or expecting that. So David stayed in Pearl Harbor for months. He went to Australia for several months, came back to California, and he served as the ship's fire controlman. And also, he had a second job because he was from Hollywood. Everyone assumed that he must be able to take pictures. And so he was the ship's photographer too. So he spent a lot of his time taking pictures. But I just wanted to introduce you to him. I think, wow, what an incredible story, right? Waving at one of the pilots who dropped dropped bombs in Pearl Harbor. And I love that we were able to preserve some of his story in this book, even though he's passed away and I didn't get to talk with him. I had the opportunity to talk with his wife and then share his story in here. And so now his kids and grandkids and their kids will all get to have a little piece of him and a little bit of his story inside of here. So, so introducing David Meneley, our second veteran of the week that we are highlighting at Memory Lane Jane. And so excited that you could join us. And please, if you know someone who is a veteran and you would like to honor them and honor their story, please write their name in the comment section, and they'll have the chance to win an hour of interview with me, and we'll record it, have that preserved and transcribed, and it's important to share these stories and pass them on. So have a great night. Remember, tomorrow, Veterans Day, I'll be back, but make sure that you say thank you to a veteran, either in your family or someone else that you know. Have a great night.